Hello and welcome, it's Dr. Red Frizzle here. As you'll probably notice, the recording quality of this video has been improved as I've selected a much better webcam. Anyway, here we go. So this series is going to be based on the body's response to stimulus, and I've listed a few keywords down here, as you can see, like neurons, response, reaction, negative and positive feedback. Now this reaction one, you don't actually need to know like too much about that, apart from a reaction doesn't require thought. So a reaction might be something you do without thinking about it. So supposing you was in some really stressful situation, like you're driving the car really quickly and crashed, then you might sort of react to it instantly, and it might not be a controlled reaction. You might sort of hurl yourself to one side of the car to get out the way of like an object that's sort of protruding into your vehicle, for example. But supposing you was going to respond to it, you'd actually think about what you're doing. Now a reaction is usually like a reflex reaction. Now reflex means that it bypasses the brain, so this is why it doesn't require thought, because in your pathway, if you like, in order to react to the stimulus, it doesn't actually include your brain at all. The signals are still sent down your neurons like they normally would be, but the brain is totally missed out of this. So in my next video I'll go through with you the actual passage of a stimulus in neurons. But the primary focus of this video is to inform you of different types of stimulus, and to inform you of how they can affect your body and how your body can respond to these different types of stimulus. So first of all, we've got a couple of words here, so behavioural and physiological. Now behavioural should be quite obvious. It's something that you actually physically change, like your position, for example. So supposing you're a horned lizard, for example, and you're basking in the sun, what you want to do is increase your surface area as much as possible. What this does is it maximises the amount of heat that you'll absorb. There's also other things like locusts, and what locusts do is they increase their breathing rate. Now the reason why they increase their breathing movements is so that more water evaporates, like to enable them to cool down, because water carries energy. All molecules carry energy that are above 0 degrees Kelvin, which is just basically absolute zero. So basically, evaporating of water is going to obviously carry heat energy away from your body in order to help you cool down. So the body's response to stimulus is primarily a negative feedback system. I've written it here, negative and positive feedback. Now, negative feedback system is a system used to bring about a reversible change in the particular stimulus. So, for example, I'll try to think of an example when this is used. So for example, assuming there's too much glucose in the body, what this will send a signal to is it will send a signal to the pancreas, the beta cells of the pancreas, in order to release more insulin. And what this insulin will do is it will bring about a change in its target cells in order to bring about a reversal in this change, in order to reduce the amount of glucose again. So supposing you've had a really sugary snack or something, that's how that system will work. Now the positive feedback system is something that actually brings about an increase in the particular thing that has been increased. So for example, assuming that all of a sudden there's more pressure on the cervix of a woman, that will stimulate more oxytocin, I believe it's called, like to be secreted. And what this oxytocin will do is it will dilate the cervix more, like in order for the baby to be born. So that's an example of positive feedback system. Now, I've mentioned up here neurons, and we'll go through the different types of neurons in the next video. But obviously, as I've just said, the primary focus of this video is on behavioural, physiological, internal and external stimulus. And well, actually, these aren't stimulus; these are responses. I should have made that clear. These are two different methods by which you can respond to bring about a change in the stimulus. Okay, so an internal stimulus is anything that's inside the body. So it's right there, inside the body. An external stimulus, as you've probably guessed already, is anything that's outside the body. So let's think of an example of an external stimulus. Let's use light, for example, because the sun can get bright sometimes. Let's assume there's some bright sun shining in my eye. What am I actually going to do in response to this stimulus? Am I going to bring about a behavioural reaction or a physiological reaction? Physiological is just involving my body. So what my body might do is my body might instinctively close my eye a bit or make me squint in order to react to the stimulus, to reduce the amount of light that's entering my eye. What my behavioural response might be is to turn away from the sun in order to get out of it. So that's like a voluntary thing what I decide to do, and the physiological thing is just something that my body does in response to it. So yeah, internal is inside the body. So I'll give like an example of this or two. As I mentioned before, insulin is used to reduce the blood glucose. So assuming the stimulus is an internal stimulus, an example of that might be an increase in blood glucose, and obviously that will lead to an increase in the insulin levels in the blood, which will respond by affecting the target cells in order to reduce the amount of glucose in the blood. I've actually made a video specifically about how insulin is secreted and how it affects the target cells. So if you're in any doubt about how that works, then I advise you watch that video. External stimulus is anything outside the body, so I've just mentioned the example of the eye and the sun. Why have I wrote hypothalamus there? Well, hypothalamus is the centre of the brain in order which actually acts to control the amount of stimulus there is. So basically what this does is it sort of stimulates a response to the stimulus. So for example, like assuming we had that increase in glucose level, then the hypothalamus is what actually sends the signal to lead to the increase in like insulin. The hypothalamus is used sort of to coordinate responses, if you like. So like assuming there was too much water in the blood, well, we'd like respond by secreting more ADH from the pituitary gland. But the hypothalamus just basically coordinates all these responses. And where is the hypothalamus? It's basically just above your brainstem, so it's right at the base of your brain, and it's primarily for the control of stimulus. Okay, so we've been through these words. Neurons, as I say, we're going to go through some more of those in the next video. There's actually 3 types of neurons you need to be aware of, which is motor, relay, and sensory neurons. So I'll go through them with you in the next video. Hope you've enjoyed this one, and maybe I'll do a video specifically on the hypothalamus function, because I think that would be quite a useful video. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.